Hello and welcome to Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, the show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland from Scorebook Live, Mississippi, joined as always by my friend and co-host, Dad. How was your weekend?
Whirlwind, man. It's been a whirlwind. I'm currently in the A terminal of Boston Logan Airport. Found the quietest place I can find for this.
I can hear that you got some background music, so it ought to keep you on track today.
Yeah, and you know it's my favorite kind too.
I know, especially early in the morning. Well, Dad, let's get into it. We went down Friday to Biloxi for your Mississippi Press Association Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Everything went well. Had a big time too.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to see a lot of old friends. It was really nice induction ceremony and reception they had. And then my good friend Charles Oberby took us all out for a great dinner later in the evening. Not much I'd change about it. Yeah,
the White Columns. That place is good. Let's give them a shout out on the air.
The White Pillars.
The White Pillars, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, it was cool sitting around the dinner table and hearing all you old newspaper guys talk about, the way the industry used to be when you guys were in your heyday. But it was the first time that I felt old enough to chime in.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, man.
I don't think so. So after Biloxi, you went straight to New Orleans and flew out Sunday to go to Boston. Why don't you tell everybody why?
Well, Tyler, it's one of the coolest stories I've ever covered. I'm in Boston. Last night was at the induction of Dot Burrow, soon to be 93-year-old Dot Burrow into the National High School Hall of Fame. And, I just wish everybody could have seen her face and how gratified she was and how much it meant to her. It was really a cool event.
Well, I saw you posted pictures of her with like taquillo spikes, and I read your column where Joe Mauer, these are two of the other inductees, was talking about how he didn't want to follow her during the press availability.
Oh, it was great. By the way, I spent some time with Joe Mauer. What an interesting gentleman he is. He goes into Cooperstown next month. But he followed her during the press conference. Each inductee made some opening remarks, and then they were open for questions. But he was right after Ms. Burr, and he started out, he said, how in the world am I supposed to follow that? Which was really cool. Here's a baseball Hall of Famer who's following a woman who played high school basketball 75 years ago. And he's a little bit intimidated by it. It was really cool.
Well, she seemed like she was a great sport and really enjoyed the weekend. So I guess that's what it's all about.
Well, as she said, it's all about family. She had 21 family members there, including her grandson, who happens to be Joe Burrow. And I thought her husband James had the greatest comment of the whole event during the press conference. I was sitting by him, and he said, all these 74 years, I didn't know I was sleeping with a celebrity.
That's too good.
James was a starting point guard at Mississippi State in the late 40s and early 50s, and a hell of an athlete himself. Their two sons, Jimmy Burr, played for a national championship team at Nebraska. Johnny Burr played at Ole Miss, was a really good safety at Ole Miss. It's a very athletic family. And then of course, there's Joe, who,
as I wrote,
had the greatest single season in college football history the year he won the Heisman for LSU, the Heisman and the national championship, and set every record there is to single season record there is. So Yeah, they're a very athletic family, and they were great. I was impressed with everybody who went into the Hall of Fame. Takeo Spikes was just, he couldn't have been more of a gentleman, and couldn't have treated Miss Burr any better either. I was just blown away by the whole thing.
Yeah, well, you should ask opposing NFC quarterbacks how gentlemanly Takeo Spikes was when he was with the Bengals earlier in his career.
Or SEC quarterbacks when he was at Auburn.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've had a pretty good trip and able to overcome the slow start from the traffic on the way to Biloxi over the weekend. I've got a special rant at the end of the show about that. But Dad, I hope you make it home in one piece. How's the weather up there?
70 degrees and sunny. It's just absolutely gorgeous. What a nice break.
And you without golf clubs or time.
Yeah, right. Neither one. I talked to your mother in New Orleans yesterday after I came in from a nice walk through the botanical gardens in Boston, and she said, "Screw you! It's 109. The heat index is 119 in New Orleans." So, yeah.
Oh, too much concrete in that city. All right. Anything you're looking forward to this week, Dad?
Oh man, I got to figure out what's going on the rest of this week, Tyler. I hope to watch some baseball. I just think it's almost too hot there to play golf right now.
Well, I'm sure you'll test that theory when you get back.
Well, tell me first. I've got just a few more minutes. Who won the All School Awards? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, the All Sports Awards. We gave those out last week. It was another successful year of me tallying up points for a week and a half and then announcing the winners. We were lucky enough this year to be sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi, so special thanks to them for doing it. And we started working in conjunction with the MHSA on this instead of just kind of doing it ourselves at SB Live. So we've had some good buy-in. Some really familiar names. It was kind of interesting, Dad, because this was the first year since the realignment. And it seems like, a lot of the teams you always see, in 1A it was Tupelo Christian, in 2A it was St. Andrews, and in 3A it was St. Patrick. So you got the private schools doing really well. And then on down the list, we had some newer winners. We had Caledonia win in 4A. It's their first one. We had Corinth win in 5A. Saltillo won 6A after moving up from 5A in reclassification. And in 7A, Madison Central, I think this is like 3 or 4 in a row for them. They just dominate the country club sports and win swimming every year. And they won 7A as the initial winner of that new class.
Well, that's nothing new there.
They just continue to be the standard bearer. I'm not sure. I think other schools are kind of investing in some of those sports, but they got a big advantage right now.
I think a lot of that goes all the way back to Mike Justice when he was the coach and the athletic director before he started beating my brains in golf. When he was the AD there, he said, "This is one trophy I want to win." And he upgraded all the sports, added coaches, and I think it began with him, but there's been some great people that have continued that legacy.
Yeah, I think to win it, you got to be good in those country club sports, but to win it every year, you got to be good in the country club sports, and you got to advance in the key, the big mainstream sports. And you look at Madison Central, a team that reached the quarterfinals in baseball, reached the North State final in football in a down year. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot they can point to and be happy about this season.
Yeah, they're really good at it. They're really good. They're very versatile. They're good at the big sports. They're good at the little sports. They're good in boys. They're good in girls. So yeah, that's why they win every year. Yeah.
That's right. All right, Dad, that's about all the time we got. But before we get out of here, I promised a rant, and here it is. There are 5 or 6 towns between here and Biloxi that are big enough to have a stoplight. Just 5 or 6. But you would think on the way down, there's 10 or 12. And then on top of that, the number of stoplights in these towns is ridiculous. I'm looking at you, Collins. Collins, you are a 2 stoplight town at best. At best. You've got no fewer than 5 stoplights on Highway 49. McGee, you are a 2 stoplight town. You have got 4 stoplights, including one that just goes to one gas station. Mendenhall, you are a 0 stoplight town. You have no stop. You should have no stoplights. You have 2. This is ridiculous. The trip from Jackson just to Hattiesburg has gone from 80 minutes when I was a kid to like at least 2 hours. And it's utterly ridiculous.
Buddy, I couldn't agree with you more.
We need fewer stoplights. What do I need to do? They finally finished construction after 20 damn years on 49 through Florence and Richland, right? They 4-lane the whole thing to speed it up. And what do? They had 8 stoplights downstream. Seminary. Really? 2 stoplights, Seminary? And one of them just takes me to a road to get to the other road where you have a stoplight coming off of it? Get out of here. That's too many stoplights. It's ridiculous.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Well, I mean, I had given it privately to you, and you had agreed with me, so I felt strong. I felt strong about it.
You know, I cannot imagine, Tyler, that anybody listening will disagree with any of it. But if they do, I'm sorry, they're wrong.
I mean, nothing against the good folks of Collins, but there are not enough of you.
Yeah, I agree. And
right.
I'm fixing to go catch this flight.
All right, Dad, we'll let you go.
All right, take care.
And thanks to Rick for calling in there for us. Before we get out of here, I just got to say, it wasn't the stoplight rant was not my only one this week. If you saw the news last week about after Texas A&M lost the national championship in baseball, a reporter asked Schlossnagle from Texas A&M about the rumors that he had accepted another job, and Schlossnagle, in very poor form, attacked the journalist for it, said that it was selfish of him to ask the question, and that he took the Texas A&M job to be his very last job. It was Tommy Tuberville Pine Box-esque. It was a ridiculous statement considering he had already accepted the job in private weeks prior. And so, of course, the reporter was vindicated, and Schlossnagle apologized at his introductory press conference when he was introduced to Texas. But here's the deal. And I saw a lot of people online attacking the journalist for asking the question, saying that Schlossnagle was right. He was selfish. It's not the time or the place or whatever the hell the excuse was. I just want to give you some perspective from a sports journalist. When you get into those situations, you don't have you may not have another opportunity to talk to this person, especially if you know that they have either been flirting with somebody or have already accepted a job somewhere else. They could accept the job tomorrow, and the only person that the coach is going to talk to after that is going to be his next job. The reporters that cover Texas, he's going to move on immediately. He's not going to want to look back. He's not going to want to talk about his tenure at Texas A&M or rehash what happened a week, 2 weeks ago, old contract negotiations, blah, blah, blah. The only time that you have to ask him that question is in that moment. And it is so awkward when you have to do that. It absolutely sucks. It's one of the worst parts of the job. And I just didn't think he deserved the vitriol he got online. That said, let's talk about somebody who does deserve vitriol, and that's Jim Schlossnagle. You talk about a guy, I mean, I get it. You know, you want to go to the peak of your sport and you've been waiting on the Texas job, whatever. You take the Texas A&M job, you get them to the brink of a national championship, and then you leave in the middle of the night for their bitter rival. The only program I would say that you could, I mean, there's no other program that he could go to that would hurt Texas A&M more directly or indirectly than Texas. So, you know, Texas A&M fans, get your shots in while you can. He definitely deserves every bit of it. I just think it's kind of a snake move, kind of Tommy Tuberville, like I said, Pine Box-esque. I mean, there's a reason Tuberville is still a dirty word in Oxford, and I'm sure Schlossnagle will be in College Station for a very long time, and well-deserved. That's about all the time we got this week, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We've got a very special guest in studio. We're going to be joined by future big leaguer Connor Griffin from Jackson Prep is going to join us in studio next week. So excited to talk to him a week ahead of the draft. A very special gift for the podcast. So all looking forward to that. Other than that, have a good week out there, everybody. Stay safe, stay cool, and we'll talk to you next week.